Memphis? Remember, the Grizzlies were the last team to beat these Denver Nuggets. They did it at their place a couple of weeks ago. Thumbs up for the Nuggets tonight. That wasn't happening in this game. Down at the half, down by 8 early in the third. The Nuggets flipped the switch and ran away with this thing. 136-119 your final. The Nuggets have now won, count them, how many fingers? 10 in a row.
10.
Season long and the longest win streak since Nikola Jokic arrived. We got a full house here in the Colorado Social. Watching Nuggets post-game live, brought to you by your Toyota Front Range stores. Vic Lombardi and Chris Dempsey. Let's start here. This is a great sign, all right, Nuggets fans. So the year that the Nuggets won their NBA championship, they got to sit Nikola Jokic 8 times in the fourth quarter of that season, because 8 times they were well ahead and they didn't have to play him.
Yeah.
Tonight they sat Joker in the fourth for the 8th time this season. So that's a good sign.
That's really well done. Exactly right. Look, at the beginning of the season, Coach David Adelman said that he wanted more of these instances where he could sit his starters and his main rotation players for big chunks of, if not the entirety of these fourth quarters. There just wasn't a ton of blowout games last season. The injuries made it so that this became a problem this season as well. But look, you win your 10th straight game. You're able to sit your starters down in the fourth quarter. It's huge. It really is huge. Their magic number now is 2 to secure the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. That's a big deal as well. So they did what they had to do. Improved over the performance against Portland a couple of days ago, and you put away a team that you should put away.
And we'll get you updated on the playoff standings and what needs to happen over the weekend here. But let me start, before we show you the highlights. Memphis, last time they played Memphis, the Grizzlies played 15 guys.
Right, yeah.
And they were throwing them out there in waves.
Yeah.
Tonight they had half that amount.
Right.
So they couldn't play the same brand. They had to just jack up threes up there. What do you think about the quality of basketball when it just becomes a chuckathon?
Well, you know, I think for Memphis, it's an element. There was an element of this that it is how they operate on the basketball court, but they're doing it with lesser athletes than even a couple of weeks ago when they did beat the Nuggets. And they're obviously, to your point, they're doing it with far fewer players. They play hard. They try to really press and force turnovers and really kind of muck the game up a little bit. And so for the Nuggets, it was just about dealing with the pressure and then being able to overcome the three-point shooting. There were elements of this game, Vic, that did look like a schoolyard basketball, right?
Goodness.
Because then when the Nuggets would just run down and step into a three-point shot, then now you're just getting a three-point shooting contest going back and forth. So the Nuggets had to get, I would say, control back in their own offensive end to execute the way they need to execute so that this just wasn't a backyard brawl. It became an actual basketball game.
All right, let's show you how it went down. Our Toyota game recap. 11 Memphis regulars did not play in this game, so clearly shorthanded. And it looked like a pack of sixth graders trying to guard Joker for a while there. He got what he wanted. He got himself another triple-double. He's had 7 triple-doubles during this 10-game win streak. Jamal Murray, his shot making, my goodness. Yeah, 20 of his 26 in the first half.
Yeah, it's fading out of bounds on that three-pointer is crazy.
Grizzlies have Ball, some guy named Adama Ball, and he starts making shots. They all start making shots, and they would eventually take the lead. Walter Clayton with the and one. Memphis would go on to build an 8-point lead in the first half. All right, let's go. Time to go here. Thank goodness for Jamal Murray, huh?
Yeah,
he had his A game.
All the off-balance threes from him in this game tonight. Look at that. He makes such tough shots, and he does it with ease. And I'm here to tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy.
All right, Nuggets wake up. They start running. They start scoring. Christian Brown on the receiving end of that one, but in the final seconds of the half, again, the Grizzlies, they score at the buzzer, and they're up 4 at halftime. Denver is down yet again at the half. Gonna need the Nuggets to pick things up in the third quarter, and that's exactly what they do. They go bully ball. You know, AG was scoreless in that first half, and he said, just give it to me, and let me do my thing. And he injected a little bit of life. Here comes more life. Cam Johnson running. There's a triple-double from Joker on that pass there.
Yeah, and they got out in transition a lot in that third quarter. It really helped them get control of this basketball game.
Nuggets hit him with the 12-3 run. Tim Flamethrower Jr. doing what he does. And then Cowboy Bruce blocks a shot on one end, gallops to the other end. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get the hat tip after that. We should have gotten the hat tip.
He only saved that for maybe nice open threes, but that pretty much ended the game. And it was a furious onslaught in the third quarter where the Nuggets outscored them 39-22. Here are your Chevy post-game stats. It's always nice when your team shoots 59%, almost 60% from the field tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there was a quarter. I believe they shot 70% in one of the quarters here tonight. Look, Memphis defensively is bad. I don't know how else to put it. And so the Nuggets with the #1 offense in the NBA were most certainly going to be able to take advantage of that. The three-pointers even themselves out in the second half. The Nuggets hit a bunch of those in the second half. And then every other category you see is in the Nuggets' favor. They had 8 players in double figures. Just everything was working for them. They just had to defensively make sure that they took care of the three-point line. They did, and this game was over.
Again, the Nuggets on a 10-game streak, the hottest team in the NBA right now. And I want to compare it to some other win streaks during the Nikola Jokic era. We keep calling this the Jokic era. I prefer the Chris Dempsey era. But if you look behind us,
that extends many decades.
10 games right now. They had 9 last season. Then they had, 9 in the championship season of 2023. And I know people are going to point to the schedule. Yeah, the schedule eased up. But you still got to win the games. And you got 2 more this weekend. And you wonder, if Oklahoma City wins tonight,
which they are,
it renders those 2 games, Oklahoma City and San Antonio, they have nothing to play for.
Correct. So OKC wins tonight, they clinch the #1 seed in the Western Conference, which just means, which just means though that they probably won't play much of anybody on Friday here in Denver.
Hey man, let's be fair. Oklahoma City's B team, I think could beat this Memphis team.
The rest of the story is it's a very deep basketball team. But will Shea play? Will Chet play? I mean, those type of players there. At the same time as the Nuggets are still trying to wrap up the 3rd seed, so we'll see.
Well, Nuggets fans are happy tonight because they came and they saw a win. And when we come back, David Adelman on his team, which is streaking going into the playoff run.
Giving those guys opportunity to play means the first 5 guys that start, the guys that come in the rotation, have to play a lot better than they did in the first half. We were much better defensively with our energy, activity, defensive rebounding, and then that leads to opportunity for other people. And I thought those guys played the right way when they got in the game. Those are the coolest nights in the NBA. They're hard to find, when you play these teams, in our league. When you can get a lead like that and comfortably sit your starters when they need rest as well. So it works both ways. Guys get opportunities and are better, first 5. The guys that played the better minutes of the season get a chance to take a break. So it was a good second half for us after a very zombie-like first half.
David, in the back, just getting 10 wins. I know this point of the year you're always talking about just stacking wins, doesn't matter who it's against, but the fact that 10 in a row for the first time ever in the Jokic era, how special is that to be on a run like this right now?
Yeah, no, it means something to me. Just I've been here, for all of this. I was not aware of that. I said that before the game too. We've won so much, over the years that you would expect that we get to a double-digit win streak. And I think it speaks to the consistency over the years of us always bouncing back after a loss. But I do think it says a lot about the group staying with it during this period of time. And I think in this league, especially this season that's been so unique with the schedule change, the streaming stations, all those things, when your schedule breaks your way, you have to take advantage of it. And we've done that. We've had a homestand finally, first one since last year, it feels like. And the guys have taken advantage of that. We've won some close games on the road where people say you're supposed to go win. No one's supposed to do anything in the NBA. I don't know if that's a newsflash for everybody, but these games, you play 48 minutes for a reason, sometimes longer. I'm proud of it. 10 in a row is a real deal. It's a real thing. And for those 2 guys, shocking that we never did it, but cool that we did it, this year.
What would you say is the biggest trend that you like that you're seeing from your team during this 10-game winning streak?
Yeah, I think we've flipped defensively at some point in all these games, meaning that we've been inconsistent all year with that. We've had great quarters, great fourth quarters to complement this offense that's been so consistent all year with the shooting, the ball movement, the 31 assists again, shot 59% from the field. But at some point, you have to sit down and guard. And that leads to what we're really good at when we can get stops and defensive rebounds is, 19 fast break points. If we get fast break points to complement the shooting, the post up, all those things, we're really hard to beat. So it was fun to see us in the third quarter sit down and guard, be more attentive to what we were trying to accomplish. And that just leads to more opportunities offensively. And that's, now we're playing downhill. We're a super hard team to guard, obviously, with the talent that we have on the roster. So, yeah, we just have to be more consistent with that as we go into the tournament and these last two games against really good teams. But we've shown we can do it when we sit down, and have focus defensively.
After tonight.
All right, first of all, I love the fact that Coach Adelman calls the playoffs the tournament.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
School on it. But he said something very important there about his team's defense and how during the streak they've found moments to flip it and suddenly start playing defense. Against Portland, they didn't do it till the fourth quarter.
Correct.
Tonight, it was in the third quarter. So I ask you, can you flip it consistently in the playoffs? How difficult will that be?
Yeah, it's difficult, man. If you haven't established who you are as a defensive team going into the playoffs, it's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And I would just say this about the Nuggets defensively. I think they're still a work in progress. A few games ago, I think we sat here on the set, or the one in studio, and I said, it is really good that they're playing the teams that they're playing late in this season because of the different offensive styles that they have to guard as they are trying to put the kind of the building blocks together as a defensive basketball team. This team here plays a style that the Oklahoma City Thunder do not play. And so you are going to, if you can see your way and get better through all of these different tests, now you're going into the playoffs feeling a lot better about who you are defensively. Lately, you've heard me call it situational because it kind of has been. They don't play defense for big chunks of a game, but then all of a sudden they turn it on.
But you know as well, you're not going to win a championship unless you inject defense.
And earlier than they have been able to inject it in these games. So I think, to me, that's what I'm looking for from these last three games. No